This is ABC15 Mornings.
Closing arguments to the country.
If he gets in, you will have a depression the likes of which you've never seen. Your 401ks will go to hell.
What is on the ballot here is the character of this country.
The final debate centers around more than just the virus.
Are you starting to feel angry?
The main takeaway here is that people are devaluing each other as they disagree with each other. And that's causing such a heightened state of anger and hostility, resentment and anxiety.
Why you may have election stress disorder.
Helping children during this pandemic.
Some families do yoga, some families will read together, they'll have a family movie night time.
The importance of having more family time to help them cope.
Are you ready to spend? Google launching new tools to let you know if you found a good deal.
Plus COVID-19 in our schools.
We felt sick, so we went to go see the doctor, and they wanted us to get tested just to make sure that we don't have it.
New this morning, a possible way to mitigate the spread.
Back in black. Why the Arizona Cardinals are ready for more primetime football this weekend. I mean, who's not excited about that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Monday Night Football to Sunday Night Football, it's kind of a big deal around here for us.
Kind of a big deal. It's a huge deal, right?
Exactly. All right, it's Friday morning. It feels like a Friday around here as we cruise you into the weekend. Kaylee O'Kelly here in studio, our Nick Soletti social distancing from the newsroom.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. Cardinals, I think, still riding high off that win of the Cowboys Monday Night Football. Think we're in for a repeat maybe Sunday. We hope so against the Seahawks. As we head into the weekend, beautiful weather for your Friday. Meteorologist Jorge Torres is in for Iris. He is in studio today, and he's got the preview. Hey, Jorge.
Hey, Nick. Good morning, everyone. Friday is here, and it feels fantastic already. We're in the lower 70s officially at Sky Harbor. Humidity is at 35%, and the wind for the time being is light from the east at 7. That'll pick up this weekend. We'll talk more about that in your full forecast. But the planner for your Friday looking great. We'll be in the 80s by about 10 and climbing to the 90s once again this afternoon. That is above that seasonal average of 86 degrees. But it should be a nice day and a nice, at least early part of the weekend to wash your car. But that chance of rain looking promising next week. So if you really want it to rain, wash your car today and tomorrow. And we'll have a good opportunity for that. We'll talk more about that storm on the way for your next week's forecast. But in the meantime, let's take a look at traffic. And for that, here is Chelsea Davis. Good morning, Chelsea.
Good morning, Jorge. I was just about to say, if you want that car wash, you could just get it for free when it rains. No, I'm just kidding. That won't work very well. All right, let's talk about the accident log group traffic maps, shall we? We have Friday light conditions on our valley freeways. Lots of green flows, especially for the east side of town. All of your freeways are clear. No reported crashes right now, even into and out of Maricopa on State Route 347. North Valley, I-17, State Route 74, the 303, the 101, all clear. West side of town, I-10, you're going to see some breaks as you approach the stack normal for this time of day. Same story with I-17 southbound around the Durango curve. There was an earlier crash on I-17 northbound at 16th Street off right. It's clear now, so you don't have to worry about that. And overall, our desert drive times are all looking low, which is great news. Back to you.
Chelsea, thank you. Today is your last day to request a mail-in ballot here in Arizona. You can do that by going to arizona.vote. And once you get that ballot, it's recommended you get it in the mail by Tuesday, October 27th. That is 1 week before the election. If you missed today's deadline, you can still vote early in person. Arizona.vote also has details on hours and locations for early voting centers and those ballot drop boxes. New numbers show Maricopa County has set a new early voting record, more than 930,000 votes cast at this point. You can see the breakdown between the parties as well here on your screen. The key to the election are those individuals not listed as Democrat or Republican, what we would consider to be independents in most cases. That is who is more than likely going to swing this election for either candidate.
Well, President Donald Trump and Joe Biden sharing the stage for that final presidential debate last night. ABC's Faith Abube is in Washington this morning with a look at the key moments.
The final presidential debate opening with one of the biggest issues facing this country, a virus that's ravaged the economy and killed more than 222,000 Americans in just 7 months.
I say we're learning to live with it. We have no choice. We can't lock ourselves up in a basement like Joe does.
People are learning to die with it. Anyone who's responsible for that many deaths should not remain as president of the United States of America.
The president defending his handling of the pandemic while painting a rosy picture at odds with what the data shows.
It will go away, and as I say, we're rounding the turn, we're rounding the corner.
We're about to go into a dark winter, and he has no clear plan.
The relatively calmer debate, noticeably low on interruptions, but just as high on attacks.
We have to provide health insurance for people at an affordable rate, and that's what I do.
He was now there as vice president for 8 years. He didn't do anything. He didn't do it. He wants socialized medicine.
President Biden, he's a very confused guy. He thinks he's running against somebody else. This is the guy who's tried to cut Medicare.
On the economy, Trump insisting he's better for the job.
If he gets in, you will have a depression the likes of which you've never seen. Your 401ks will go to hell.
What is on the ballot here is the character of this country.
In their closing arguments, Trump telling voters economic success will unify the nation. Biden saying, if elected, he would represent every American and address systemic racism.
I think I have great relationships with all people. I am the least racist person in this room.
Abraham Lincoln here is one of the most racist presidents we've had in modern history. He pours fuel on every single racist fire.
And both candidates are back on the campaign trail today. Joe Biden will be stumping in Delaware while Trump heads to Florida. Faith Abube, ABC News, Washington.
6:05 right now. The FDA has approved the first drug to treat COVID-19, the antiviral medication remdesivir. It was granted emergency use back in the spring, but now will be open to everybody. With its approval, it's been given a new name. The treatment will be marketed as Velclary. In a large study by the U.S. National Institutes of Health, the drug was shown to cut coronavirus recovery time by about 5 days.
COVID-19 cases are rising in school districts across Maricopa County here in Arizona. Since mid-September, schools have reported 131 cases. Williamsfield High School in Gilbert announcing it's canceling all homecoming activities this weekend. The school, which is in the Higley Unified District, is reporting now at least 5 cases. Up next here on ABC 15 Mornings, are you watching a lot of political coverage? Maybe you're checking your social media feeds a lot. Might be struggling to sleep, or you're a bit on edge. At least people are telling you that. There is now a name for what a lot of us are going through.
Plus, new colors, better camera, 5G, and a big ol' price tag. The new iPhone hit store shelves this morning, but you won't be able to wait in line to get your hands on one.
Watch ABC15 Arizona on your schedule. Stream the latest news and weather by searching ABC15 on Roku, Fire TV, Android TV, and Apple TV.
Okay, it's 10 minutes past the hour. Parents, if you're a mom or dad, you know, we're stressed out right now. Childcare issues, uncertainty at school, just the pandemic in general. But as stressed out as we are, the focus has to be on our kids. And our Mark Thompson is sharing this morning how COVID is affecting the way our kids are feeling. And you're also talking about what we can do about this to help.
Yeah, absolutely, Kaylee. Good morning to you. And this is such an important topic that I know a lot of parents have been experiencing right now. In fact, recent pediatric studies show that 1 in 5 kids right now may be feeling depressed because of all that's going on, depression in kids. And they say that kids under the age of 10 years old are having a really hard time processing just everything that's going on in the world right now. And of course, that burden sometimes falls on the shoulders of parents. And this can be a sensitive time for parents. Social development is a critical part of growing up, and kids, they just don't have that right now because of the isolation from their friends or extended family, all due to the pandemic. It can cause kids to lash out, and parents, they need to understand that right now.
If you're really anxious or really frustrated, that's not really the time that you want to talk with your child about their behavior, because what they're seeing is what you're putting forth. So really do those self-cares, you know, breathing, mindfulness, all of those things to take care of yourself first, and then you can take care of your child.
And a spokesperson for Arizona's Children Alliance says that parents need to make sure that they don't lash out. Kids in preschool or elementary school, they're developing right now, usually building those blocks of of empathy and compromise and collaboration with others, but that can't happen because a lot of them aren't in the classroom, so it's critical for parents to find extra time to do some social interactions, especially with smaller kids.
Some families do yoga, some families will read together, you know, they'll have a family movie night time, but just kids need downtime as much as adults do. And it's really important to that, to their well-being, both mentally and physically too.
And health professionals, they expect a rise in anxiety and depression among all groups, not just kids. And that's going to be a major issue, especially once we come out of the pandemic. But right now they say it's just critical for children to feel like that they have a support system, that they have parents, grandparents, even older siblings who are in their corner and behind them to support whatever they may be feeling right now during the pandemic. Reporting live this morning, Mark Thompson, ABC 15 Arizona. Back to you.
All right, Mark, great reminder. Thank you. Let's get to our top stories today. A federal judge urging the Trump administration to do more to help court-appointed researchers find the hundreds of parents who were separated from their children after crossing the border. A court filing revealed this week that researchers have been unable to track down the parents of 545 kids. Walmart is suing the government before the government sues them. The retailer filing a lawsuit saying the Justice Department is unfairly blaming the company for contributing to the opioid crisis. Walmart is asking a judge to declare the government has no basis to demand civil damages. National forest lands in Colorado are closed this morning because of wildfires there. Scientists say these wildfires typically start dying down in Colorado by this time of year, partially because of snow, but the drought and rising temperatures have really dragged out this fire season to the detriment of so many communities there, and of course, these fire crews.
And the fire danger remains still high even here in Arizona because of, as you mentioned, Nick, the hot and dry conditions we've been enduring too. But we are expecting some changes in our forecast beginning later this weekend. Now today through at least Saturday, temperatures should be above normal for much of the state. Humidity will remain low and the wind will pick up too ahead of that next big front and storm system that will arrive beginning Sunday into Monday. Now as far as winds today, it'll be breezy up in the high country and also in central parts of the state from Sedona to Prescott. Wind speeds there anywhere from 10 to 15, gusting to about 25 in a few spots. And even stronger on Saturday, 10 to 20 mile per hour wind speeds, gusting up to 30 in places like the Grand Canyon, Flagstaff, Winslow, and also there on the Navajo Nation. But then beginning Sunday into early next week, that cool air arrives and that chance of rain and mountain snow picks up too. It does appear that Monday will be the best opportunity for scattered showers and thunderstorms in parts of the valley and in eastern portions of the state, and then snow indicated by the colors in blue, mainly Monday morning into the afternoon across northern and northeastern Arizona too. As far as the chance of rain in the valley, only about 20%, and that's late in the day. We're talking Sunday into early Monday, and then up to 40% Monday, down to 20 on Tuesday, and then we slowly dry out for much of next week too. As far as the first fall storm coming in, as far as rainfall amounts, it'll be fairly light, at least here in town, anywhere from a 1/10 of an inch to perhaps even a 1/4 of an inch in a few isolated locations. But as you head up toward eastern portions of the county and up toward Gila County, we could see some higher amounts. And then as far as snow, it'll be anywhere from 1 to 3 inches above 6,500 feet. This includes areas like Flagstaff, for example, beginning as early as Sunday night and lasting through about Tuesday. Windy conditions will continue too, gusts 30 in the valley and 40 up in northern parts of Arizona. Right now in Phoenix, temperatures are in the mid-60s, even upper 60s as you head toward Tempe. Chandler now 63, 66 in Santan Valley, and Maricopa now at 62. And the planner for your Friday showing those temperatures climbing to the mid-70s by 980s as you head toward 11 o'clock and the noon hour, and highs today in the lower 90s, above the seasonal average of 86 degrees. 93 in Scottsdale today and in Glendale, along with Levine and Goodyear, 93 in Surprise and 88 in Anthem. Elsewhere across the state today, highs in the 70s up in Flagstaff, Heber, and Shola, mid-70s, a beautiful end to the work week. 90s across the lower deserts with that 7-day forecast showing highs in the 90s through Saturday, 80s beginning on Sunday, and then look at Monday. We're going to be in the 70s for highs with breezy conditions and some higher gusts around the storms, 40% chance of rain, and down to 20 on Tuesday with highs staying in the 70s Monday through Wednesday with lows in the 50s beginning Tuesday morning.
ABC 15 Desert Drive Time, sponsored by Accident Law Group.
All right, thanks so much, Jorge. We're very excited for temps to cool down. I don't know if it's happening to anybody else, but my skin's already starting to crack. You know how that happens getting closer to winter. But it's all right. I'm embracing it, loving the fall. I'm watching the accident law group traffic maps here. Overall, we still have a lot of green on our valley freeways. When we go surface street level in Buckeye, we do have a crash that's still out there on Baseline Road between Palo Verde and Highway 85. It's closer to Turner. If you need to get by, Southern could be a good option, though at this point, we're not seeing the delays that we saw earlier this morning, but I'll keep watching that. I'll let you know when that changes. From the west side of town, if you travel on I-10 eastbound approaching the Stack, you'll see breaks begin at least by 43rd Avenue, maybe back to 51st Avenue at this point, and then stay pretty steady through the Stack and lighten up just before you get to the mini Stack. I-17 southbound approaching the Stack, all green flows. It's only a little slow once you come around the Durango curve and get closer to 19th Avenue. North Valley and East Valleys are quiet right now when we're talking about our accident law group traffic maps. No matter what freeway you choose, fingers crossed, we hope it stays that way. I'm going to show you some desert drive times in the next few minutes.
Chelsea, thank you. Boy, so many politically charged opinions right now. The conflict can be really tough to get away from. So this morning, we are learning more about something called election stress disorder. We're also sharing ways to cope. Dawn Wheel has started to read.
It's been a little different.
Weeks ago, instead of a book, she was scrolling through social media posts.
As of 2 weeks ago, I deleted all social media.
Dawn says politics and the pandemic were consuming her life.
Because I can tell, just like with eating and sleeping and just how I feel overall, that anxiety of constantly thinking about it, it becomes almost too much.
Psychologist Jacqueline Schlisky says some of us have something called election stress disorder.
It's not officially a mental disorder characterized in the DSM. However, there is some truth to the feelings that are captured in election stress disorder.
She says one is anger.
The main takeaway here is that people are devaluing each other as they disagree with each other. And that's causing such a heightened state of anger and hostility, resentment and anxiety.
And she also says there are ways to cope.
Step one is just becoming aware of the emotion. Then step two is validating that emotion. It's okay to feel anxious. It's okay to feel stressed. And the third step is doing something about it. How can I cope with it? What can I do that will make me feel better?
Just to escape, right? You could always read something, or psychologists say sit back and watch a movie without having that phone in your hand.
For some Arizonans, election season is turning into a circus, literally. A group of Tucson performers is using their skills to encourage people to vote. They're putting on a nonpartisan show this weekend. Just head to Heritage Square Park in Phoenix tomorrow. It starts at 4 p.m. And afterwards, they will parade to the polls.
It's almost 6:20, keeping kids in school safely. Only here on ABC15 Mornings. Could the answer be coronavirus testing sites on campus?
And are you ready to start that holiday shopping? We all want a good deal, right? There's new online shopping tools to help you compare and track prices this season. In just a few hours, the new iPhone 12 models will be available to buy in Apple stores, but because of the pandemic, you won't be able to wait in line. Apple says if lines start to form, employees will hand out reservation forms with time slots for people to come back later. Temperature checks and face masks are required in the store. You can also order a new phone through the Apple website.
Well, just in time for the holiday shopping season, Google is adding some new tools to help you find the best deals and discounts. The Price Insights will show you if there are better prices somewhere else, and you'll also be able to track product prices and get an alert when bigger discounts are available.
Halloween is almost here and it's time to start carving these pumpkins, but we all know it can be difficult and sometimes messy. So today we're testing out hacks to see if they're bowl or no bowl.
We saw this first hack all over the internet, and we followed the step-by-step instructions from awonderfulthought.com. We cut the top of our pumpkin around the stem, took a big knife to chop off the squishy pumpkin guts and seeds, then I enlisted some help. Safety first. Attach a hand mixer beater to the end of a drill and get ready to go to town. I held the base of the pumpkin while our intern Celia used the drill like a hand mixer on the insides of the pumpkin like it was a bowl. I cut off the stringy pumpkin that stuck to the whisk. We turned turned the pumpkin upside down, patted it with our hands, and most of the guts and seeds came out. We did the process twice, and after 2 passes, our pumpkin looked amazing. Though it did fling some pumpkin a bit like cookie dough, it was overall less messy and faster than the traditional route. I'm going with Noble. Up next, drawing with a dry erase marker. If you make a mistake, you're supposed to be able to wipe it away with a damp cloth. We tried it, but it's bull. Take whatever cookie cutter shape you want on the pumpkin, then press a block of wood against it. We hit the wood and cutter into the pumpkin with a rubber mallet, then knock the middle of the cutout all the way through, and voila! This one is no bull. What hacks have you tried? Let us know at abc15.com/smartshopper.
Wow, I love that egg beater trick too. That is awesome. Hey, pet parents, how would you like to get a free portrait of your pets in a Halloween costume and help out a local animal shelter? Home for Good. Just bring in a donation of food, toys, or anything on the donation wish list that they want. The event is today and tomorrow. You can call them to set up an appointment there. Home for Good. Good job, guys. Next at 6:30, a week and a half to go, but with mail-in voting numbers and early voting totals already leaps and bounds ahead of this past election, could this election already be in the bag for somebody?
Then no doubt a lot of people are going to be watching this one here in Arizona and across the nation. Why experts say a win on Sunday could have our Red Sea talking playoffs.